Two of the biggest names in retirement planning are in an actual fight right now over when you should claim Social Security. One of them wrote an article tearing apart decades of wait until 70 advice. The other one read it, got upset, and basically said, let's not even talk about it. If you're 55, 60, or already retired and still haven't claimed, this argument matters to you more than almost anything else I'll cover this year. Because depending on who's right, claiming at 62 instead of 70 could either save your retirement or quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a framework that's better than either side of this fight. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tyson Retires. If you're new here, this channel is all about helping you retire with confidence instead of guesswork. Real numbers, real planning software, no fluff. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, because I put out videos like this every week. Now let's get into the drama, because retirement planning drama is my favorite kind of drama. The backstory. Here's what happened. An academic who specializes in retirement income research published a long, detailed breakdown questioning the industry's favorite rule of thumb: delay Social Security to age 70 whenever you can. His argument, in short, a huge share of planners and researchers treat wait until 70 as almost universally correct. But the assumptions holding that advice up are shakier than people admit. Naturally, this ruffled feathers. One of the well-known planners referenced in the piece pushed back publicly, saying his work had been mischaracterized. When the author offered to hash it out, the response was basically, not worth it. That's about as heated as it gets in this corner of finance, but underneath the drama is a genuinely important debate. So let's break down both sides, and then I'll tell you where I land. The standard advice and why it's being questioned. For years, the mainstream advice has been simple. If you can afford to wait, delay Social Security until 70. You get a bigger guaranteed check for life, and you're protected if you live a long time. There are exceptions, poor health, certain spousal situations, but that's the baseline. Here's the challenge to that thinking. The argument is that most of this wait until 70 research is built on two shaky assumptions. First, it treats every dollar the same. This is what I call spreadsheet math. On a spreadsheet, more money is always better than less money, full stop. But that's not how real humans actually experience money. A dollar in your healthy, active 60s doesn't feel the same as a dollar in your fragile 90s, even though a spreadsheet says they're equal. Second, a lot of these projections quietly ignore what your money could have earned if you weren't spending down your portfolio to delay Social Security. Meaning, if you delay, you often need to pull income from your investments in the meantime, and that money is no longer sitting in the market compounding for you. Let me actually show you what that looks like on real planning software, because the numbers are pretty eye-opening. The software demo, showing the opportunity cost. Let's use an example couple. We'll call them Mike and Carol. Mike has a $3,200 monthly Social Security benefit at full retirement age. Carol has $2,000. They're both 62 right now, and we'll assume they live to 95. Scenario 1. They both delay to 70. Watch what happens to their projected lifetime benefit. It climbs to right around $2 million. The break-even point where delaying starts winning is about 17 years out, and they're 7 years from actually claiming. Scenario 2. They claim at 62 instead. Now their lifetime benefit drops to somewhere around $1.5 million. On paper, that's a difference of nearly $500,000 in favor of waiting. That's the number planners usually show you, and it looks dramatic. But here's the catch. That $2 million number assumes the money they didn't claim early just doesn't exist anywhere else. It ignores the fact that if they'd claimed early and left their portfolio untouched, that money could have kept growing. So let's apply a realistic market return, say 5% above inflation, to model what their portfolio would have earned instead. Look at that. Once we factor in what that money could have earned in the market, the gap between claiming at 62 and claiming at 70 shrinks dramatically. In some cases, it nearly disappears. That's the entire foundation of this argument. The extra $500,000 from delaying isn't as real as it looks once you account for opportunity cost. Expected value versus expected utility. This is really where the philosophical fight is happening. The claim is that the industry should be focused less on expected value, the pure math answer, and more on expected utility, how humans actually experience and use money. A dollar today, when you're healthy enough to travel, isn't equal to a dollar at 95, when you might not even be able to leave the house. Most people don't even expect to be alive that far out, yet the math treats that future dollar as just as valuable as today's. Simplified version: spreadsheet math says more money later is always better. Real life says a dollar you can actually enjoy today might be worth more than a bigger dollar you may never spend. The 8 hidden risks of delaying. From there, the argument goes further and lays out 8 risks that delaying advocates often gloss over. Let's go through them. 1. Mortality risk. There's a real chance you die before ever reaching that break-even point. In our example, that was 17 years out. A lot can happen in 17 years. 2. Sequence of return risk. If the market drops early in your retirement and you're leaning harder on your portfolio while you wait to claim, that early damage can compound in a bad way. 3. Policy risk. Social Security's trust fund is projected to face shortfalls around 2033. I'll be honest, I don't think this alone is a strong reason to claim early, but it's worth acknowledging. People worry about it. 4. Opportunity cost. We just walked through this. A balanced portfolio has historically returned somewhere around 4.5% above inflation over time. And that's the cost of leaving money untouched while you wait. 5. Regret risk. Imagine delaying, then getting a serious health diagnosis at 68. That regret is real, and it's rarely modeled into the math. 6. Health span risk. Money in your active 60s, when you can travel, hike, do the things you've been waiting your whole career to do, often has more real value than money in your 90s. 7. Loss of optionality. Once you're collecting Social Security, it's fixed. A portfolio is flexible. You can pull a little extra in a big year or dial back in a lean one. Social Security doesn't bend. 8. Underspending risk. This one's fascinating. Research consistently shows retirees spend Social Security income far more freely than they spend down their own portfolio. There's something psychological about it. A portfolio feels like your money, almost like a scorecard for how you're doing in life, so pulling from it feels like a loss. A Social Security check just feels like money you're owed. We see the exact same pattern with annuities. People with annuity income tend to spend more comfortably, even when the math says the market investor is better off long term. So put that all together, and the case for claiming early isn't just about the math. It's about actually living your retirement instead of guarding a number on a screen. There's one more point worth mentioning. By pushing everyone toward wait until 70, the industry may be accidentally training people to think claiming Social Security is retirement, when really, you can retire well before you ever file. That mindset alone might be pushing people to work longer than they actually need to. Where I think this argument falls short. Now, I think a lot of this is genuinely valuable, but I don't think it's the full picture, and here's where I'd push back. 1. Flexibility runs both ways. If you plan to delay and then something changes, health scare, market crash, you just want the cash, you can always decide to claim early instead. But if you claim at 62 and later realize you didn't need to, there's no undo button. Delaying keeps your options open longer. 2. And this might be the biggest miss: taxes. Delaying Social Security often opens up a window of lower income years where Roth conversions and tax-efficient withdrawals become extremely powerful. For someone with a large tax-deferred account, that window alone can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime tax savings. Claiming early shrinks that window and can make more of your Social Security benefit taxable at the same time. 3. Spousal protection. This is the one I'd underline if I could only pick one. When one spouse passes away, the survivor keeps the higher of the two benefits. If you're the higher earner, delaying locks in a bigger permanent income floor for your spouse after you're gone. For a lot of my clients, that alone settles the decision. 4. Inflation protection. Social Security comes with a built-in cost of living adjustment that your bond portfolio simply doesn't have. In a high inflation stretch, a delayed CRIP and therefore larger CRIT benefit becomes even more valuable. 5. The reverse glide path. Delaying lets you start retirement a bit more conservative with your portfolio. And then, once that larger guaranteed check kicks in, you can afford to take a bit more risk later. I use this with clients regularly: more caution early in retirement, more growth later once guaranteed income is doing more of the heavy lifting. So, my honest take? This debate reinforces something I say constantly on this channel. There is no universal right answer. The always wait until 70 crowd oversimplifies. But claiming early just to avoid opportunity cost oversimplifies too, especially if you ignore taxes and spousal protection. Takeaway: your Social Security decision isn't a math problem you solve once and forget. It's tied to your health, your tax situation, your spouse's benefit, how you actually spend money, and how much risk you can stomach watching your portfolio absorb early on. That's exactly why cookie-cutter rules, always wait, always claim early, miss the mark for so many people. If you want a simple way to start weighing these factors for your own situation, I built a point-based system to help you think this through. I'll link that video right here and down in the description. If this video helped untangle the debate for you, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and drop a comment, Team Claim Early or Team Wait Until 70. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.